Shabbat Shalom. I'm Rabbi Robert Barr, and I'm pleased that you're joining me and one another for this streaming Shabbat service. We are living in challenging and difficult times. We are overwhelmed with what we're seeing, and we need a chance to pause, to catch a breath, to think about where we've been, to think about where we're going. For the days flow into one another without interruption. Time races on. The Sabbath is our means to divert time. It is a stepping off point, pausing with friends and family to observe and rejoice in the wonder-filled coincidence of living. There can be a sense of pleasure in every given breath, blessed with taste to savor and warmth to give and to receive, bestowed with gifts of sight and sound. We are obliged to cherish and revel in each smile, in every musical note. The Sabbath also awakens us to the silence between the notes. It speaks of contemplation, the quiet delight of literature, of unhurried walks, of rare conversation. The Sabbath can be our interlude, our ritual pause in this lively current, our signal to step more lightly, to appreciate more profoundly, to dive more deeply into the questions that life is asking. Again, I'm Rabbi Robert Barr of Congregation Beth Adam. That's our bricks and mortar congregation here in Loveland, Ohio. That's part of Greater Cincinnati, and our Jewish community, our online initiative, which we began over 15 years ago. We went online. We started using the internet, recognizing that it afforded us the opportunity to stay connected with members who had moved to other cities, to meet new people who may never have come to Cincinnati, but learned about our congregation. And certainly during the pandemic, it allowed us to remain connected. And we've continued our online presence with streaming services like this, as well as hybrid services where some people are in our library and our sanctuary with me, and other folks are online. Using technology allows us to communicate in so many ways, but it is a tool, only a tool. It isn't the essence and being of our congregation. Our congregation is about bold, dynamic Judaism, a Judaism that speaks to who we are, not who our ancestors were, but who we are, our values, our ideas. And we ask ourselves not to be concerned with what our ancestors did, but rather, what are we leaving future generations? Are we leaving the best, most dynamic Judaism that we can? Are we giving voice to our beliefs informed by the knowledge that we have that our ancestors did not have access to? That's what we do here at Congregation Beth Adam. And you're a part of it this evening because you're joining with me to pause, to reflect, and to share in this moment. Of course, this is a streaming service, and that means several things. It means people can chat while we are online. So I know folks on bethadam.org, our website, like to chat with one another, and that's wonderful. And folks on our Facebook pages leave us messages of where they are participating from. We really appreciate that as well. It also means that we can record services and post them at 7 o'clock. We will record them earlier. And in fact, I've recorded this service a bit earlier as well because I'm going to be traveling, but I wanted to have a Shabbat service that we could pause and reflect with together. That's what this is about. Using the technology to allow ourselves to give expression to our Jewish identity in the most authentic way for who we are. And we are doing that together this evening. And I'm pleased that we can. I'm pleased that you're with me. I'm pleased that we can pause, that we can reflect, that we can think during these really incredibly difficult times. We're going to continue our service with the lighting of the Shabbat candles. The candles of Shabbat stand before us, waiting to meet their flame, longing to share their warmth, ready to shed their light. Like those who came before us, like all people, we find comfort and fear in flame, endless swirl of fascination, mystery and awe. Like those who came before us, Like all people, we are graced with the desire and the will to understand. So we continue our ancestors' search for answers, pushing away the darkness of ignorance. The flames they saw as magic and beyond comprehension became flames of knowledge and hope. But still, we look with wonder, inspired by their beauty, their power. We embrace the flames of Shabbat. We embrace the light, our vessel of mystery and understanding. As we light our Shabbat candles, we celebrate our journey, our quest, our moments of peace. May the light of our people shine. May these candles burn with respect for all who push beyond the bonds of ignorance, for all who seek justice, for all who build community. May these candles burn with memory of those who came before us. May we draw on the many ways our people have given voice to their ideas and values. And may we add our own insight to the glow. Baruch ha'or ba'olam, blessed is the light within the world. Baruch ha'or ba'adam, blessed is the light within each person. Baruch ha'or ba'Shabbat, blessed is the light of the Sabbath. Tonight, I wanted to share with you a midrash. We're in the midst of the holiday season, and I wanted to read a midrash, a Jewish legend, based upon the story of the Garden of Eden. It's a rewrite. It's something that I wrote, and it's about us paying attention to the world around us, seeing all the people there, not only those who are fortunate, but those who are less fortunate as well. The garden was lush, the smells intense, and the beauty beyond words. Fruit dripped off the trees, and cool springs with fresh, pure waters meandered through the gardens. Eve wanted for nothing. Everything was but an arm's length away. As she wandered the garden, she took it all in. She looked about her. She was happy and she was content. She knew no sorrow. She knew no pain. Though she had never known anything else, she could not imagine anything being better than this. At times, as she wandered about, particularly as the sun was slipping below the horizon, Eve would notice something out of the corner of her eye. It seemed to exist only in the shadows. It appeared to be other people, but rather than being like she and Adam, they were drawn and gaunt. And rather than joy, there appeared on their faces sorrow and pain. But when she investigated, there would be no one there, no sign of what she thought she saw, no evidence of others, no suffering, no pain. She thought her eyes deceived her. She would move on. Eve and Adam continued to live their carefree lives with no worries, no concerns. Yet Eve remained quietly unsettled. In her heart, she said something was amiss, but she tried to ignore the feelings that there was more to the garden than she was fully aware. Small at first, her discontent slowly grew, gnawing at her, not overwhelming her, but simply pulling at her from inside to look more carefully, to open her eyes and her heart to be more fully, to more fully appreciate that which was around her. But eyes do not open in an instant and see all that there is to see. It takes time to adjust to the bright light. One day, as Eve was eating from the tree in the middle of the garden, savoring its fruits, she looked up and saw not in the shadows, but right before her another woman carrying a child. Startled, Eve stared at the woman as the woman stared back at her. Eve walked closer, uncertain, confused. "Who are you?" Eve asked. "I've never seen you before. Adam and I are alone in this garden." "Oh, you've seen me before," said the woman. "But before, when you looked at me, you looked right through me, as if I wasn't there." That discomfort Eve had known, that she had tried to keep tapped down, welled up inside her. She knew that the woman was right. She had seen her before, but had never really noticed her. Those glimpses of people she saw in the shadows were real. They weren't specters or illusions. They were people different than she and Adam, people living in a garden with them, but they had never fully seen. These people did not live in the shadows. They lived their lives out in the open, but Adam and Eve did not have the ability to see beyond themselves. They savored only their own lives, seeing only which they wished to see. But now, the protective veil had slipped from her eyes. Though Eve did not want to see the others, she could not help herself. There was no way for her to deny what was before her. No way to ignore that which made her uncomfortable. Eve saw not only the woman with whom she had spoken, but others who lived among her and with her. What stung most was that Eve had always thought of herself as kind and caring. How then could she not have seen so many others? People who, though they lived in the garden, were leading lives of pain and sorrow. Though she and Adam had more than enough to eat, there were people who were hungry, people in need, people in want. Something was amiss in the garden, Eve understood. But more than this, Eve knew that something was amiss in herself, the ability to appreciate that which surrounded her. Though she and Adam lived a blessed life, Eve came to realize that there were others with whom she shared the same land, whose lives were not as blessed. As this reality settled upon her, Eve wept. She cried for those less fortunate than she, but more, she cried for herself, that she had been so blind, that she had been so absorbed in her own life. No other lives mattered. With her eyes now open, the walls of the garden fell away, and Eve and Adam entered the awaiting world. At this time of celebration and holidays, I think it's important for us to pause, to reflect, to think about others, those less fortunate than ourselves. And if we are able to help, to offer donations, to offer food, I think it is indeed incumbent upon us to give of our resources to those who live around us, those who are less fortunate, who walk among us, and they deserve to be seen and they deserve to be helped. It is indeed our responsibility to reach beyond ourselves and to make the world more caring and to help those less fortunate than we. We continue the service with the sharing of wine. Life is a wondrous gift. The mind observes with awe and appreciation flows from the heart. Life's joyful bounties are unveiled. Such treasures abound in ordinary moments. A familiar face, the simplicity of a smile, tender kisses, the warmth and security of a hug, enchanting melodies, the grace of dance, the coolness of sculpted marble, a remarkable story. The complexity of atomic structure, thunder's reverberation, the shimmering of the rainbow, intoxicating rose petals. These moments become opportunities to affirm that which is good. As we lift the cup, a tribute to life's enchantments, may we find joy and contentment in our human endeavor. Bruchim chachayim ba'olam, blessed is the life within the world. Bruchim chachayim ba'olam, blessed is the life within each person. And we say, l'chaim, the life. For those of you who join me for our streaming services or our hybrid service on a regular basis, you know that I'm not in our library right now. I'm back in our congregational sanctuary. Those of you who have been participating with us know that we are involved in a really important moment in the history of Congregation Beth Adam. We are searching for our next Rabbi Chief Executive, the person who will replace me. Those individuals who are applying for that position have been in our sanctuary presenting. We have one more person to go, and so we're all set up in the library. We're all set up in the sanctuary so that they can do their presentation. If you want to learn more about what's happening at Beth Adam, if you want to know about the rabbinic search, if you want to know about adult education or about Friday night services, go to bethadam.org. That is always the best place to go. If you're a member of the congregation, if you're interested, you can get a Zoom link to participate in our hybrid services, attend our adult education. This is a very exciting time in the history of our congregation, and it's a moment of transition. And I'm excited, and I am so pleased with the work that our congregation has done. The committees have done a remarkable job in searching for candidates and have a process that is very equitable and that is really informative and helping all of our members be a part of this important moment. And I'm glad you're part of it as well, and sharing this evening with me and sharing all the activities as this year winds to an end, as 2023 winds to an end, and we're on the cusp of a new year, 2024. I want to wish you the best of the season. I hope you are safe and you're healthy, and you can take a moment to reflect on the beauty and the joys that abound, and also think about those in need and how perhaps you can reach out to them. If you participate with us on a regular basis and you're able, of course, we would appreciate any donation that you can give. Donations help us to continue the work and continue the outreach that we've been doing here at Congregation Beth Adam. I want to wish you a Shabbat Shalom as we end with the words we end with each week. May we know blessings those who are near. May we know blessings those who are far. May the Sabbath bring its goodness to everyone soon, wherever they are. May we know blessings through the day, and may we know blessings through the night. May health be for our children and for all people, and all things soon be right. May we know blessings in our comings, and may we know blessings when we depart. May we live each day with peace and wisdom in each heart. Can ye he? Let it be. Shabbat Shalom.